So,
away you go.
where were you born and when?
I was born in Brighton on the 9th of July 1933.
And where did you spend your childhood?
About 100 yards away from where I was born.
So Brighton again?
Yeah, my hometown.
And do you remember having a teddy bear?
Yes.
What was your teddy bear like?
Oh, a bit nondescript. It was nothing particular.
So
just a teddy bear. I can't even remember its name. It didn't mean an awful lot to me.
You've answered about 4 of my questions there. So do you remember playing with it? What sort of games did you play?
Oh, nothing really.
No?
I wasn't particularly interested in it.
So
I think someone gave it to me, but okay. Didn't do a lot for me.
So, what are your best memories of the teddy bear? Or do you not have any, really?
Don't have any.
No?
You just said you didn't like it.
What's wrong?
I'm asking the wrong questions, apparently.
I was just saying, you just said you didn't particularly like it, and then she asked you what your best memories were. It just made me laugh.
So, how about dolls? Do you remember having any dolls?
Leave it out.
What about toy soldiers?
Toy soldiers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to have lots of those and have battles with them.
So, tell me some more about your toy soldiers. What sort of games did you play?
Well, we used to buy them in Woolworths or any old places and build up an army of them, and then we'd have a friend of mine would come around and we'd have a battle.
Yeah. Would you be on opposing sides, or would you be fighting on the same side?
Oh, we'd be against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good friend then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about, what are your best memories of your toy soldiers?
Well, mainly where I bought them, and we used to paint them ourselves.
What colours did you paint them?
Well, mainly, well, either red or khaki, or depending on what year the soldiers were.
Yeah.
For the 1800s, we'd probably paint them red.
So what size were they?
What size? About 3 inches.
Okay, so metal ones.
Yeah, they were cast in in lead.
So, how about construction toys? Did you play with any construction toys?
That was my life. From the age of about 3, I've been an engineer ever since.
Yeah.
So my whole life, really, if we're going to start talking about toys, they were all Meccano and things like that.
So tell me about your Meccano. What colour was it?
I had every set there was, starting with, I think it was 3, going right up to the top ones. And yeah, I don't know whether it was the chicken or the egg that came first, but it's either I was interested in engineering or making Meccano got me interested in engineering.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but that's what I did, and that's what I've been ever since.
So what did you make from your Meccano?
Oh, anything and everything. You mentioned it and I made it. I didn't use the book very much. I just made up something. If I wanted a crane, I'd build a crane, or a car, I'd build a car.
And do you still have any of your Meccano?
No.
You said you were still an engineer. I thought.
Oh
you
no, I
might
am.
still.
Well, I've had an engineering company, not Meccano set. I had a factory.
So what sort of engineering?
Well, basically, I'm an aircraft designer. That's
Okay.
what I was trained as. But over the years, I slowly changed until I eventually had an engineering company which manufactured anything that was mechanical or electromechanical, and that could have been anything. Well, it was anything, but for no real reason, I used to get colossal orders for vending machines, so a lot of our work was vending machines, but it could have been anything. In fact, we designed a motor car that was up in... Do you remember Tomorrow's World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was on there, and it was up at the car show. All right, on we go.
Did you have any other construction toys you can remember?
Well, yes, I did. My life has been split into two, but I've just started to explain. No, well, three actually, but we'll leave the other one for now. I was, from the age of about 6, my auntie bought me a model aeroplane kit, and that was another thing that's been with me all my life, because that's what I did for a living for many years, aircraft designing. So they're the two main things, really. So I didn't muck about with the toys that you push around on the floor and all that sort of thing. The other thing which I was very interested in, and I did a lot of it, was, like most kids, model railway engines. I had lines going all over the house pretty well.
They've got a massive model railway set up at the Toy Museum.
Have you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes all around the museum.
What, the O gauge?
Yeah. And it's meant to be going through Hastings as well, isn't it?
Oh, that's the 00.
Yeah.
Which one it is? It's just trained me.
The 00's the little one, Holly. The
Okay.
O gauge is the bigger one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't remember how to
this
say it without saying that.
Airplane kit you said your aunt bought you. What was it like?
It was called a Bluebird, which was a very simple aeroplane. I mean, it was the first one I ever built. My auntie was well aware of that, so it was quite a simple, just balsa wood construction with some tissue paper over it, and cellulose and elastic band and a propeller. So that was the first one. But I didn't make many of those kits, because I used to do all my own designing, and that's what triggered it all off, really. And I was going to be I wanted to be a commercial airline pilot originally, but that was about £50,000 worth of training, which my parents couldn't afford. So I tried other avenues which didn't work out, and so I settled for designing instead of flying them. And it's basically what happened.
So when your aunt bought you the kit, were you already interested in designing planes?
Yes, I was. I'll tell you what happened. Quite often on a Sunday, my father would take me up to London to a place called Petticoat Lane, which is just a huge, well, more than one road. It's a massive great place of stalls where they sold everything you can think of. It was just a sort of marketplace, really. And my father would take me up there about once a month, something like that. And we'd catch the bus up and go through Croydon. And Croydon was an airport then. So as you went down the main road, or to the left, immediately to the left and the right were aeroplanes. And that was one thing that started me off. And the other thing was, when I passed my 11 plus, I went to grammar school and went up to have a look at it, and there's a Sock with Pup full-size aeroplane at the entrance to the school, so I thought, well, that's for me.
So what did you do with your aeroplanes once you'd made them?
Flew them. Funnily enough.
Oh, so were these remote controlled?
Well, yeah,
or
radio control,
radio
control and other means of controlling it, but yeah, I just flew them. I actually, when I was 15, I think it was, I saved up, because I was still at school, so I saved up. I worked on the post office over Christmas, and I saved up I can still remember it to this day, £4.14 and sixpence, which I used for buying my first engine, and that was with me for a good many years.
Excellent. Any other aeroplane-related questions?
Oh, we could ask loads of aeroplane-related questions.
I don't understand aeroplanes, so you all have to ask those questions.
Any aeroplane-related questions, Dan?
No, I was just interested if you were, you said you were an aircraft designer, if there were any aircraft that we'd be familiar with that you designed.
Very much so. Yeah, I was very involved, and I'm sure you'll remember it, the very, very first commercial jetliner, the Comet. And I was very, very involved with that, and I was also very involved with sorting out why it crashed. And I was at a company called De Havilland's, and we also had all sorts of latest technology, supersonic flying wings and things like that. And I, 2 or 3 of the staff got killed, and I used to, as an apprentice, I used to have to go and clear the bodies out on a Monday morning.
Oh.
They'd crash on the Saturday afternoon, throw the bits in the back of a lorry and take them back to the factory in Hatfield, and first thing Monday morning I'd have to go out and sort out all the bits.
Was it true about the corrosive fuel used to make it even more dangerous? It wasn't just explosive, but the fuel itself?
No, it's just the opposite.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, so I seem to remember having heard a rumour that they used corrosive fuel.
No, I mean, there was a fuel that came out even better than the one we were using, but the one that we first started using was only paraffin as opposed to petrol.
Mm-hmm.
And all jet engines are powered by paraffin of some sort or the other.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to toys for the moment.
Back to what?
Back to toys.
Yeah.
What?
I think you're going to get the sack soon, to be quite
It's
honest.
fine, I'm a volunteer. They can't
She's
sack
really
me.
discussing toys, really going off on a tangent that hard.
Was there any toys that you wanted but you didn't have?
Yes.
What were they?
Well, you're half right. I came from a very musical family. My father was a band leader, and I'm sure I was listening to music in my mother's womb. I was born and bred on music. And when it got to, well, first of all, my father was, the Dad's Army thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't have to go in the army because he was working in a factory during the war.
Yeah.
And they used to have this Dad's Army going around the streets on a Sunday morning, keeping up the morale of everybody. And they said to him, well, you can't carry a piano around with you, so go and find yourself another instrument that you can use your musical knowledge and adapt it to something else. And he managed to find in the Brighton lanes a clarinet for 30 shillings, I think he paid for it. And he couldn't really play it, but anyway, when he was at work, I used to grab it and have a go at playing it, because I was also having piano lessons. When my father came home from work, instead of saying to my mother, hello, how are you, and had a good day and all the rest of it, he'd say, has he had his practice? And I didn't like it all that much at first, but as he said to me, you will appreciate it later on, so I've been playing the piano ever since. But to answer your question, what happened was, when I got to the age of 16, he bought me a saxophone, because he knew I was dead keen on all that sort of thing. And thereupon became a dilemma. What did I do with my life? Did I become a musician, or did I go into the aircraft industry? And it was a bit of a difficult decision at first, but then I thought about it, why not do both?
Mm.
Which is what I did. And I've had a tremendous life, because I've played with some of the finest orchestras and bands in the country, and had a hell of a life going all around the world, come to that, playing. And so it's been an interesting life. I play be in my factory during the daytime and play in an orchestra in a ballroom or somewhere during the evening. So I've had a tremendous life, really.
Excellent. Is there any other toys that you've had?
Yes.
You can remember?
I had a factory, not a factory, I had a company hiring out aeroplanes, and I had a nightclub down in the south of Spain, Marbella.
Wow.
So is that enough to be getting on with?
Yeah, that's enough to be getting on with, unless you guys have any other questions.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is taking you back to toy planes and Meccano,
Yeah.
and then growing up to be an engineer and design aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that your interest in engineering came about because of the toys you played with? or do you think you wanted to play with those toys?
I
because
wish I
you
knew.
already
I can't give you an answer to that, in all honesty. I know my father made me a plywood aeroplane when I was very young, and I was quite keen on playing with that. And I came from an engineering company, as well as my father being a musician. He was also an engineer and very practical.
Okay.
So I think it was in the genes, really. I got it from there, really. Mm. It seems funny how he was an engineer and musician, and that's how I finished up. So maybe there is something in the genes after all. I don't know.
And the other thing I'm interested in is you were saying about making these planes. Did you make them? And you said you flew the.
Yeah.
Did you then make sure that they stayed in one piece?
Yeah, I had to. I was forever, as any aero modeller will tell you, you're forever repairing them. Yeah, happens all the time. I was repairing them more than flying them, but that's the way it goes.
I only asked because we've interviewed some people who used to make model planes deliberately in order to then destroy them.
Oh,
it used
yeah,
to be
no.
part of the plane.
Oh, yeah. No, that wasn't the idea at all. The idea was to keep them intact, but it very rarely happened.
So remote-controlled ones, you said?
No, I only ever have bought one or two. Most of the ones I designed myself. That's how I learned to draw, really. I suppose I used to draw them out myself, and that's how I got onto a drawing board.
So what powered the toy ones?
Power?
Yeah.
Well, 2 or 3 sources. When you start off, it's rubber bands, elastic, and or gliding, where you use the wind of course as energy. And after that, then there was a whole range of aircraft engines. In my early day, it was just petrol engines, but slowly, at the end of the war, diesel engines came in, which were much easier to run and didn't need an ignition system and all that sort of thing. So it was engines after that, and then they just got bigger and bigger, basically. But there's nothing much. There are jet engines. That I've never been involved with that, but there are jet planes and jet engines for models. Okay. Which are a bit frightening. Yeah, they have a speed of about 300 miles an hour. They have them at Shoreham on the exhibition day. They fly them before the big aeroplanes start, and they're frightening. I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. There was quite beside the point, really. But when I was an apprentice, we started making model aeroplanes, and being aircraft apprentices, they were getting bigger and bigger and heavier and faster and faster, and in the end they were made of a substance called jabrock, which is what all the fittings and fixtures to hold the aeroplanes while they're manufactured are made of. Very, very strong and very, very heavy, and we were constructing these aeroplanes out of this stuff, and God, were they fast. And we used to have in the de Havilland Venom and Vampire, they had in the nose, for some unknown reason, had loads and loads of elastic wound up around a big front, for the front of the aeroplane. God knows what it was all for. And we had miles and miles of this elastic in the factory. So we used to construct a huge catapult, about 100 yards long, with this elastic band on. And then we used to stretch it back, put 2 big poles in the ground and stretch out like a big catapult. This aeroplane, well, more than one, but they were ferocious things, and we used to launch them, and they'd literally go about 200 miles an hour. And we were doing this for about 6 months, and then one of them went over and hit one of the apprentices in the back of the neck and killed him. So that was that. It was all cancelled after that.
Have you ever had a real job, or have you always just played with planes?
Well, I've built quite a lot. Things like tiger moths we used to make as apprentices, wood out of spruce and that sort of thing. So
it doesn't sound like you ever stopped from the age of 3.
No,
right away through.
No, that's right. I haven't. I literally worked from morning till night, and I didn't regard it as work. I used to love every minute of it. I mean, there was a time when I was about 18, I suppose, and I was doing my apprenticeship, and every Friday evening I would come down as soon as I could get out of work and go round to the Pier Pavilion in Worthing and play there until about midnight. And then Saturday evening I would be at the Assembly Hall in Worthing until midnight. And then I'd go on to a jazz club in Brighton and play all night until about 8 o'clock in the morning. Have a bit of breakfast, and I'd go back to I can't think of the name of it offhand, in Worthing for a jazz club there till about 1 o'clock. Have a quick bit of lunch, over the road to back to the Pier Pavilion for a rehearsal with the Worthing Symphony Orchestra. Sunday night do the concert, and then Monday morning go back to work. So when I slept, I haven't the slightest recollection.
No, I don't think I'd be able to do that much with no sleep.
So now you understand why I'm having my life story published.
We do,
Yeah.
we do. Feel a bit, our 20-minute interview feels a bit...
No, I've had a wonderful life. Yes, hilarious.
Anything else you want to ask Holly?
No, I've...
Should have covered most of it, I should think.
Yeah.
All that can be published anyway.